Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Tonight on the SEC ESPN Network, it's the Lady Bulldogs from Georgia meeting the LSU Tigers. Here are up-to-the-moment Southeastern Conference standings. The top of the league still dominated by undefeated LSU and undefeated South Carolina. Georgia is in the middle of the pack. Come on inside the Maravich Center, everyone, with former Tulsa Golden Hurricane Victor Howell. I'm Lynn Rollins. This LSU team is coming off a monumental victory over Tennessee, 76-68. More than 15,000 fans were in this building. It was a record crowd. The seismograph did not go off on campus, but it was close.
A magical night for everybody who was in attendance at the Maravich Assembly Center. The team fed off the crowd, and the crowd certainly fed off the team, led by this player, fifth-year senior Alexis Morris. One game after scoring 17 against Alabama, she went for a career-high 31 points, threw in 6 rebounds and 5 steals, the first to join the 35-5 club. But it wasn't just Morris who had the crowd in a frenzy. You can't talk LSU basketball without talking Angel Reese. 21 games, 21 wins, 21 straight double-doubles. She had a slow start against Tennessee, but finished with 18 points, 17 rebounds, in what was a monumental win against the Lady Vols.
This Georgia team has won its last 2 SEC games against Missouri and Mississippi State. It's 15-8 overall, 4-5 in the league.
And they're led by Diamond Battle. She's a fifth-year senior for the Lady Bulldogs, has the most experience on this team, just a tick under 14 points a game, just over 3 boards a game. She's coming off a game where she had 19 in a big win against Mississippi State, one of the reasons why she was a preseason second-team All-SEC pick.
Well, Victor, let's look at some side-by-side numbers here as we get ready for tip-off. LSU holds the advantage in scoring by a wide margin. Georgia has made somewhat of a living this year playing good defense.
Yeah, they force a lot of turnovers. They're very good with steals. The 2 categories to keep an eye on, rebounding, because LSU's rebounding margin has been so dominant this season, but Georgia's going to try to pack the lane. So how can LSU get to the glass? And turnovers. Georgia forces a lot of turnovers, almost 20 a game by their opponents. That's been an issue sometimes for Kim Mulkey. Can LSU control the ball and not give it up?
LSU in white, Georgia in the dark uniforms, and we are underway, playing in front of another sensational crowd here in the Maravich Center. The pass intended inside for Reese is tipped away. 9:49 left in the first quarter. We are 11 seconds into it and 20 on the shot clock.
You see just how much Georgia tries to pack in that defense early and force LSU to try to beat them from the outside. They do not want Angel Reese to get off early or easy scoring at the rim.
Reese had a slow first half against Tennessee, but turned it up several notches in the final 20 minutes. Shot clock at 10. LSU having trouble getting its offense started until now. Reese was right there to take the feed for the lay-in.
Yeah, and the loose ball opened up the baseline for Flau'jae Johnson, who went right down the line and passed it to Reese.
Here's Georgia's lineup. Chapman battles Warren Isaacs and Smith. Georgia has had 6 different starting lineups this year. Battles and Smith are the only 2 Georgia players to have started every game. LSU in its man-to-man. 5 on the shot clock in the opening possession for Georgia. Reese defending and slaps it away. Reese blocks it out of bounds. It's LSU basketball.
Whether you want to give it the block or you want to give the shot clock violation, either way, an outstanding defensive effort right out the gates for LSU to keep Georgia from even getting a shot up.
Carson, Johnson, Morris, Reese, and Williams, the opening quintet for LSU. LSU's starting lineup has varied 4 times this year. This lineup has started 16 games. This is number 17. And Victor, the lineup on the floor right now for LSU as a starting unit has not lost a game this year. 16-0.
A lot of those lineup changes came earlier in the season when Kim Mulkey was trying to get used to just who she had on this roster, who can play well with who. The early turnover there by Jasmine Carson. Quick substitution for LSU as Kateri Poole comes in, but you know Carson will be right back on the floor.
Carson, of course, has the capacity to be a game-breaking outside shooter. Poole has been gaining more and more playing time, and Georgia ties it up on a nice move to the left side. There's Poole. Chapman on the bucket for Georgia.
You see how fast Georgia's closing out on Alexis Morris coming off that 31-point performance.
Poole is open for 3. She'll take it, and it is good.
Doesn't shoot it all that much, but when she does, she's been very successful. 44% on the season from behind the line for Poole.
And that is her 17th converted triple of the year, with that a little better than 44% shooting percentage from outside, which is excellent from distance. Nice offensive rebound for Georgia. Isaacs pulling down the missed shot. 3-ball up left side. That one off the mark by Warren.
Now they're going to get Brittany Smith for the foul, as two Lady Tigers were there for the rebound. Smith got in the middle of them, goes over the back to draw the foul.
There's Katie Abramson Henderson, first season as Georgia head coach, but she has had a remarkable career in sending her previous teams to postseason appearances.
Realize in 18 years as a head coach at a handful of different universities, she's only not gone to the postseason 3 times.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Amazing success. Oh,
and
speaking of success.
Well, Kim Mulkey may be the most successful player/coach in the history of college basketball. It's that simple. National championships as a player, Olympic championships as a player, national championships as a coach at Baylor. The fastest to significant numbers of victories of anybody, male or female. There's not much she hasn't done.
Inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the list goes on and on. Absolutely.
That one spotted up and knocked down. Audrey Warren has 24 trays now, and she's alone in second place among the Georgia Bulldogs in converted triples. We've got a 5-5 game. Nice move to the bucket for Johnson, but she couldn't finish, and Georgia hustles it up court. Really nice look inside. Foul called. Free throws coming for Georgia as the hack is assessed against Flau'jae Johnson, the 5'10 freshman from Savannah, Georgia.
And Johnson didn't go far enough down the lane to get defensive position. That's why there was a lane open for Georgia to get to the basket. Then she had to play catch-up. Coming from behind, tried to get the block shot, winds up drawing the foul. Heading back down, and she's got to get to the backboard first and then turn around and work her way back out.
Javin Nicholson drops the first free throw. She's a 64.8% free throw shooter. And she bags both of them. Georgia has an early lead, 7-5, with 6:25 remaining in the opening period. Last tier Poa is in the game now for LSU. She's got the ball now, wearing number 13. This is Reese on the elbow, tries to dribble between a couple of defenders and gets kind of bumped off balance and takes steps.
A couple turnovers now for LSU here in the first 4 minutes. That time for Reese, just trying to force her way into the lane. Georgia knows where she wants to go. They're going to do everything they can early in this ballgame to keep her out of that paint area.
You know, we mentioned it generally a few moments ago, but these Bulldogs lead the Southeastern Conference in turnover margin. They're plus 4.5, which is really good stuff. And they're second in the league in steals per game at 10.5. So they can bother you defensively.
Yeah, I mentioned they forced 20 turnovers from their opponents as they find success again getting to the backboard and getting the easy bucket. They're number 2 in the conference in steals. LSU's number 3 in the conference in steals. Another turnover for LSU. I mentioned it's been a problem, but they're going to get one back here.
Poa looks for some help. LSU will reset the offense. And that is missed coming from the baseline, but free throws will be coming for the freshman Johnson, a McDonald's High School All-America last year. She started every game.
Flau'jae sees the opening on the baseline. They close late, just not able to get it to go to get the three-point play. And she did a nice job of aggressively attacking the basket when the lane was there.
Johnson is the second leading scorer for LSU. Actually, she's the second leading rebounder. That's 6.5 a game. And she has played with poise this year, Victor. Very few times have we seen her have any notion that the game might be bigger than her as a first-year player. She's been very much under control, very much aware of what she can and in some cases cannot do.
I'm talking to Associate Head Coach Bob Starkey. He talks about she's a sponge when it comes to soaking everything in and learning as Carson gets her skills as soon as she comes back into the ball game.
Carson misses the underhanded layup. The offensive rebound pulled off by Reese, and the possession is going to go back to Georgia. Let's take a timeout here. Georgia has been certainly very competitive in the first quarter. 9-7, the Lady Bulldogs lead LSU. We are working our way to the point in the season where conjecture starts to become a topic in women's basketball. Let's look at this bracketology by Charlie Cream. SEC projected seed. South Carolina, to nobody's surprise, is expected to be a number 1 seed. LSU, according to Cream right now, would be a number 2 seed. And you see the rest of the SEC teams involved right there. Georgia, right now, projected to be a 12th seed and get into the tournament.
And putting them in a 12th seed would really make them one of the last 4 or 5 teams into the bracket. And you see right below there, as of right now, Mississippi State, who Georgia just destroyed over the weekend, is one of the first teams out. And then the next 4 out, so now you're talking about the next 8 teams. Mississippi State in that first 4, Missouri in that second set of 4. So the SEC could have 9 teams, as many as 9, get into the tournament, but State and Missouri are going to have to really get on their horse in the second half of the season and get some help maybe with other teams losing around the country.
Georgia defeated Missouri 62-51 and then scored the same number of points against Mississippi State, but held the other Lady Bulldogs to 34 points, a 62-34 win.
Remember, when we're talking about the bracketology, when you're looking at all those teams, they've been on social media now for the last 2 to 2.5 weeks saying it's sold out. But don't forget, 1 week from this Sunday, that's February 12th. I believe there's a football game being played, but there's a bigger game being played. That is going to be LSU at South Carolina. Number 1, number 2 in the SEC, number 1 and number 3 in the polls at South Carolina. That game has been sold out now, going on the better part of 3 weeks.
18,000 plus tickets have been sold for that game. And Victor, I'm sure there are fans saying, well, wait a minute, LSU's undefeated. It's right with South Carolina in the SEC. Why is it maybe a 2 seed? Well, strength of schedule, and we'll show you that a little later, strength of schedule definitely has not worked in LSU's favor to this point.
No, but as the conference play goes on now, the strength of schedule is getting a little stronger. Nice shot there by Battles, who we focused on at the top of the broadcast, who leads this team, who hits that jumper. And yeah, we'll take a look at those numbers a little later.
That's her first bucket. Well, let's look at them right now.
So you
strength
see
of schedule, 27 for South Carolina, and for LSU, 106.
Stanford with a loss, UConn there. You see they're not undefeated overall, but look at their strength of schedule, and UConn's getting ready to play South Carolina. LSU, because of the non-conference schedule, that weaker strength of schedule, that's what has them right now sitting at a 2. But again, that can still change. We still have a month plus the conference tournament to go.
Well, meanwhile, Georgia is heating up here in Baton Rouge. Mallory Bates with a bucket. And Georgia has a 6-point lead over LSU. Not much has gone right for the Tigers. They are not shooting well. They are not particularly securing the basketball well. And Georgia, after a bit of a slow start, has warmed up considerably.
Well, LSU's tried 6 field goal attempts. They've only made 2. Georgia, 5 of 8, shooting 62% from the floor here in the first 6 minutes and change.
LSU will throw it into the box formation. That's Reese from 10 feet, puts it up and misses off the backboard, but it bounces back into her hands. Morris for 3. Tipped up, and good work on the offensive glass by LSU Samaya Smith, and she was fouled. She's a freshman from DeSoto, Texas.
Well, in that defensive stand, Georgia got what they wanted, a forced shot by Reese, and then the outside shot. So they're stretching that Tiger offense. The problem was, with the long shots, the Bulldogs did not crash the boards. LSU attacked the glass, and Samaya Smith earns the trip to the line.
Reese had the first bucket of the game and nothing since. Not much help from her teammates either since then. 3:41 to go in the first quarter. Georgia leads 13-7. And Smith, who is only a 61% free throw shooter. We'll try to convert the second one. She played on back-to-back high school 6A championship teams in Texas. LSU loosely. Reese sags defensively on Isaacs. The ball still outside the three-point line. Shot clock at 6. Little jump hook from 7 feet, doesn't get there, but it's hiked through the legs of a Georgia player. And we've got an official calling a timeout as a Georgia player hit the deck. Going down hard was Bates.
One official stopped it because he thought that the shot clock should not have been reset. It had jumped back to 30, and you see now it's got 19 back on it.
3:10 to play in the first quarter. Georgia has had the better of it by 5. There's a handoff to Lewis, guarded by Poa. Bates sets the pick. That's blocked, but still alive for Georgia. Saved on the end line by Reese, and then the Tigers throw it away.
Unforced errors, at least 2 unforced turnovers for LSU here early in this ball game.
That's going to go back to LSU after Zoisha Smith lost her footing. She's had 4 starts this year, a junior from Brunswick, Georgia. LSU looking for a combination that's going to be effective either offensively and defensively. So far, this has not been one of the better starts for the LSU Tigers.
No, LSU's only averaging 14 turnovers a game. They were already at 5, so better than a third of the way to their average per game here in the first quarter.
And we told you earlier just how effective Georgia has been in taking the ball away from opponents this year.
The one thing Georgia's defense is going to have to focus on is stopping the baseline. Flau'jae Johnson now for the 3rd time here in the first quarter able to drive the baseline. Remember, she started the game with the loose ball drive and then the pass to Angel Reese for the bucket. Then she drove from the left side and drew the foul. And again, driving baseline left side. Johnson going back to the free throw line after another foul.
Isaacs committed the foul. That's her second, and she's on the bench right now.
Flau'jae's been a very consistent free throw shooter, 72% on the season, of course, as I'm talking about it, one rolls out.
Look at Reese save that one somehow on the baseline underneath the bucket. That was a serpent-like move to get to the ball. Poole's pass redirected, but Reese is there. Reese wants it back. Poole's going to pull up, sling it over to Morris, and that was a ill-advised pass because Morris was covered up by the defender. Let's go back and look at Reese saving this ball from going out of bounds.
Yeah, watch the hustle from Angel Reese off of the miss. Baseline, able to hold her balance, and then because of her height and her size, she's able to go over the defense, save it when she walks into camera row, bounces back up, and unfortunately another turnover for LSU. That's 6 in the quarter.
And an unforced error against Georgia. That's 5 turnovers for Georgia. There's contact. The ball knocked loose from Flau'jae Johnson. No whistle. And apparently it was 7 on the shot clock. It's been bumper cars out there a few times, Victor.
Both of these teams trying to find a rhythm. It's been inconsistent. If there's been any consistency, it's been the turnovers from both sides early on. Neither team able to get in a set rhythm.
Morris from deep 3. And Reese tried to run it down on the deep rebound right, but couldn't catch up with it in time. LSU will peel back defensively, trailing by 4 with 1.5 minutes to go right now in the first quarter. Three ball in the air. The line driver doesn't get there, but the shooter battles, chases it down, and then a foul called on Flau'jae Johnson. That's her second.
Well, you don't often see where it looks like a player is trying to stuff the stat sheet with a three-pointer, but that three-pointer was so far off, the backboard kept the ball in play, and it bounced right back to her.
Poa has replaced Johnson. Pull-up jumper nestles in for Diamond Battles. She can create shots, and there aren't a lot of shots that she doesn't like, and she can score. LSU down by 6 on its own court. Poa fakes left, hands it back to Poole. LSU will bring in Samaya Smith at the next whistle. That's looped up against the window. It would not go. Reese has been limited to a pair of first-half points. She had the first bucket, and that's it. Tigers are coming back the other way, and a foul called in backcourt. The whistle against Chloe Chapman.
Poole looked up. She saw Angel Reese trying to get down the floor. She wasn't able to do it, but the success so far in the quarter has been because Georgia has brought their baseline of its defense up. They're not sagging under the backboard, which allows Reese to get so close to the rim. They've basically changed the baseline and brought it up 5-6 feet, which is why some of Reese's attempts have been forced from 8 to 10 feet away. Georgia's defense not allowing her to get to the rim.
Poole is a 72.7% free throw shooter. She converts the second one. LSU down by 5 as we close out the first quarter. LSU is 0 for its last 7 field goals attempt.
LSU hadn't had a field goal in over 7 minutes. The points have been coming from the free throw line. They're lucky to be down by 5.
Battles pushed off before she nailed the jumper. You see her with a little wry grin on her face. Tigers have 24.5 seconds left in this first quarter, trailing 15-10. Morris is going to bring it up. Morris had that huge game against Tennessee, but she has not certainly has not come close to matching that right now. She's scoreless in the first quarter, and the entire LSU team has been certainly out of sync.
10 field goal attempts, they've only hit 2.
Victor, 10 points in the quarter. This is certainly one of the lowest quarters in LSU this year. Poa's shot is blocked, and the shot from half court at the end of the first quarter comes up short, and the Georgia Lady Bulldogs lead the LSU Tigers. It's a 15-10 count. Entering tonight, the largest deficit in SEC play for LSU was 4 points. Right now, Georgia is one better than that, leading by 5.
Second lowest scoring quarter of the season for third-ranked LSU, trailing Georgia at home 15-10 after the first quarter. Yes, they're playing the Georgia Bulldogs, but some might want to call Georgia, at least right now, UCF North, because Georgia's first-year head coach came from Central Florida. Look at the transfers that she brought with her to Athens. Yes, they've got a good one from Texas, West Virginia, but look at the UCF logos. 3 of the players came with her from Central Florida, including the reigning American Athletic Conference Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, and that's the player we focused on at the top, and that's Diamond Battles. Last year at UCF, they got a 7 seed, the highest seed in program history. So a lot of that talent and a lot of the knowledge that come with Coach's system are now playing in Athens, and they put it to work here in the first quarter, up 5 against LSU on the road.
Well, they've also got several fifth-year players and one sixth-year player in Mallory Bates. So there is a lot of experience on this roster for Georgia.
Well, you see a coach right there. I don't think you can overstate what we were talking earlier about her success. 18 years as a head coach, only 3 seasons she did not go to the postseason, and that included the COVID year. Her teams averaged 22 wins a season under her.
That's very impressive. By the way, Victor, the largest deficit for LSU in a game this year was 8 points, and it was on this court against Southeastern Louisiana. Shot clock at 6. Shot clock at 4. Big strong offensive rebound and put back by Samaya Smith.
Well, the key word you said was strong, too. She battled inside as Poole had to throw that shot up there before the shot clock violation, but she just went and grabbed that thing and pulled it down into the bucket.
That breaks a 9-minute and 25-second drought from the field by LSU on its own court. 9.5 minutes without a field goal.
We don't even have to think on this one or look that one up. That's the longest string for this LSU team this season. That's as cold as we've seen that offense. LSU finishing the first quarter shooting 18% on 2 of 11 shooting.
Now, having said that, it's only a three-point lead for Georgia.
Exactly. Well, LSU forced 7 turnovers. There's another one. Make it 8 now for Georgia.
Morris on the run, too strong off the glass. Chapman kicks it right side. 3-ball, way strong. Deep rebound controlled by Chapman. Gets it underneath quickly for the lay-in by Brittany Smith.
Battles shoots 28% from three-point land. She's taken 2 from the right side, and both of them about put cracks into the backboard.
That was the first bucket for Smith. Yeah, they're going to have to check that at halftime.
Yeah.
Once again, it is Samaya Smith from Alexis Morris.
That's the first time LSU has had success driving in the lane against this Georgia defense and then dishing. We've seen Flage do it on the baseline. That's the first time LSU has done it from the point. Whoa.
She's playing with a vengeance. Poa will take the 3. Poa rims it home. The crowd comes to its feet, and LSU has forged the tie at 17 with 7:58 to go in the second quarter. So a 9.5-minute drought from the field, and after that, LSU responded. We'll be back in a moment. 17 apiece here early in the second quarter in Baton Rouge before another very boisterous crowd.
Monday night against Tennessee, which started a big spurt last year. Poa hit her only field goal of the game, a 3-pointer that lit the arena on fire. She's just done it again, hits one from the wing, helping LSU to a quick start here in the second quarter. A 7-2 start to the quarter has brought LSU back even with Georgia coming out of a timeout they forced the Lady Bulldogs to take. If nothing else, Poa's got great timing hitting 3. She doesn't take a lot of them, but she seems to hit them when LSU needs them the most.
And LSU needed them because prior to that, there were 9.5 minutes without a field goal. LSU was colder than a church nursery worker's stare after a 75-minute sermon, and that's cold.
I'm going to get together in the offseason. I want to see the time you put into. If you think of these things on a regular basis, we need to talk.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, not only did she hit it in the first half, guess what? In that game, in the Tennessee game Monday night, she also hit it in the second quarter, just like right here. What a great story for Poa, too, against Tennessee. Her grandparents were here. They came all the way to Louisiana. First time seeing her play in person. She scores 5 points, 2 free throws, but that big 3-pointer in the second quarter had the ovation, forced a timeout, and everybody in a frenzy. She just did it again.
Poa is from Melbourne, Australia. Played at Northwest Florida State College before she came to LSU. She was a National Junior College Athletic Association national champion in Florida. Reese off to a very slow start. LSU has been a bit careless with the basketball. Reese has been held to 2 points. She's grabbed 4 rebounds.
9 turnovers now for Georgia, a team that averages 16 a game, and they're almost into double digits already as LSU has hit as many field goals here early in the second quarter as Georgia has attempted in the quarter.
Smith at the line, a 61.4% shooter. She's not that far behind that number in field goals. She's a 54% field goal scorer.
Talked about her back-to-back state titles in Texas. She was the player of the year, ranked as the top player coming out of Dallas. And having lived there, you know that is a huge metropolitan area to be ranked the #1 player in that area. She played on a high school team that had 6 or 7 players all signed Division I scholarships.
18-17, LSU has its first lead since the very early moments. Poa almost got the steal there. Georgia has played with a lot of poise, and away from the ball, there is illegal contact.
Audrey Warren, number 31, got called for the foul on the far side, or 21, on the other side, her second foul. Got called for an illegal screen. She goes to the bench with 2. 10 turnovers now. Remember, I just told you they average 16 a game.
Reese makes the catch, goes up. That shot blocked from behind by Mallory Bates, a 6'3", sixth-year player from Roanoke, Virginia. Reese does not have many shots rejected, but that one was cleanly slapped away from behind. Poa didn't get it there. Deep rebound. Georgia on the move. There's contact. That'll be a foul against Poa. Poa is saying she grabbed me, but
an elbow trying to go down the floor, but the official saw the contact from Poa, called her for the foul.
Margaret Tiemann, the referee. Brian Garland is umpire number 1. Timothy Green, umpire number 2. Another illegal pick is called. This one assessed against Bates. That's her second.
Georgia's going to have some decisions to make here in this second quarter with the number of players that now have 2 fouls. In fact, they have 4 players with 2 fouls. 6:45 to go in the second quarter.
Kari Nyblack is going to get into the game at the next whistle for Georgia. LSU continues to have trouble connecting on passes. Carson for 3. Bingo! That's her first one. This is the largest lead for LSU.
LSU 50% from the floor in this quarter. Second bucket for Georgia here in the quarter. Now 2 for 4.
How about Alicia Lewis, who drops in the 3? That's her 24th of the year.
That snapped a bit of a string of 3 turnovers for Georgia in the span of 1:50. Angel Reese finally getting another one close to the bucket.
Standing tall underneath the bucket, Angel Reese scores. Tigers by 3, 5.5 to go, second quarter. A raucous crowd on hand in Baton Rouge.
You know, a lot of people might be on Reese watch because of the streak that she has going. It's 4 points, 5 rebounds for Reese. Another turnover as Georgia gets called for the travel. That's 12.
Well, remember, Georgia on the year is plus 4.5 in the turnover battle. But it's forced a bunch of them, but it has committed a bunch of them.
Yeah, now -6 so far. Look, they're flirting with reaching their season average per game here by half. They're only 4 shy of their average.
With 5 minutes and some change to go before intermission. At halftime, Beth Torina, LSU's softball coach, will join us. A preview of the upcoming season, and boy, is she excited about it. Poole strong to the bucket, too strong off the window. How many times has LSU put too much mustard on short-range shots tonight? Maybe 3 or 4 or 5.
Just a little too much that time, and then Georgia comes down and answers with their 13th turnover. I know Kim Mulkey would like to see her team. Look, you're having Georgia turn it over so many times here in the second quarter. 5 turnovers in the last 3.5 minutes, but it's only a 3-point lead for LSU. You know Kim Mulkey wants to see her team take advantage of these mistakes.
Carson rattles it in and out.
The opportunities are there. There's another one. There wasn't a black jersey within 15 feet of that pass.
My goodness.
I mean, if she was trying to lead a player, which it certainly looked like, she may have mistaken a referee for a teammate or something, but that pass started going to the baseline. There wasn't a Georgia player near the top of the key.
Well, the stitches are unraveling here in the second quarter for Georgia.
7 turnovers in the quarter, and as much as we were focusing on LSU having the turnover issues in the first, LSU hasn't committed any turnovers this quarter. But then again, I go right back to it's still just a 3-point lead for LSU.
Reese with a nice move, but it won't go. She's been limited to 2 buckets, including the first one of the game. That's going to be a 2-point bucket, a foul on Poole, and a free throw coming for Georgia. Diamond Battles will go to the line.
Late follow through by Poole off the jump shot, and she gets the foul call. Take a look again. And she's going to dribble inside the 3-point line and then come back. It's not that she necessarily hit her on the hand, it's the follow through when she came down and landed, not giving her the room to come down, and they call the foul.
So Battles can tie it with the free throw. 72.6% on the year. Diamond Battles, 90 free throws made. That's 3rd in the league. 124 attempted. That's 4th in the league. And look at Reese. Look how many times she gets to the line. My goodness, 201 free throw attempts already.
And that's why you can see how Georgia's focusing on raising the baseline and trying to force her away from the basket. By the way, we were talking about Diamond Battles and her numbers, and we just talked about attempts. An interesting note for Diamond Battles, her career high in rebounding came back in 2020 against the same LSU team.
Interesting.
Had 10 rebounds against LSU.
That's nice work from a backcourt player. There's Battles.
She was one of 50 players named to the preseason Naismith Player of the Year watch list.
Poa drops in both free throws. LSU's lead is that margin. That's nestled in from deep 2-point range.
Javen Nicholson, the 6'2 senior with that, coming off one of her best games of the season against Mississippi State, where she had 10 points, 8 rebounds.
Well, how about this for Nicholson? She's not attempted a 3-point shot this year, but she's 51% from the floor with all of her shots being 2-point attempts. And that one was not a layup, that last one.
No. Well, it tells us she's getting good looks and converting well on her shot attempts.
5 ties in this game, including the tie at 25. Battles from deep deuce range. Got another one.
Well, Alexis Morris now is going to have to go on top of the screen. She went below the screen, and just a half second that it took her to go under the screen and come back up gave Battles enough space to be able to take the jump shot uncontested. And then Poa thinks that she has a teammate standing there, but Carson breaks away. Poa throws it into the stands. First turnover for LSU in the quarter, 7 on the game.
Battles is the leading scorer in this game with 9 points with 2:39 to play in the second quarter. This game has been played in a narrow range. Nicholson loses it, and LSU will take advantage of the foul in backcourt, and free throws will be coming for Smith.
15 turnovers now for Georgia, so they are well on pace to passing their season average here in the first half. But these last couple of minutes now, LSU has not had a field goal in 3 minutes, and while they've gone 0 for 4, it's been the Lady Bulldogs who have gone 4 for 4, which is why Georgia's now back on top by 2.
Smith, who has come off the bench, now has 7 points, and that leads LSU. She's looking for her 8th.
Already above her season average of just about 5.5.
Smith.
Draw another foul.
She'll go right back to the line and get a couple of more free throw attempts.
She's frustrated she didn't get the shot to go in, but it's great hustle on the offensive glass to miss the free throw, get it, go right back up again. You saw her take one power dribble down the lane and got the contact.
That ball took a fortunate bounce deep and wound up in the hands of Kateri Poole. The players get readjusted at the foul line, and Smith will have a couple of free throws coming.
Yeah, the question on who the foul was called on.
Smith puts a nice backspin on it and rips the cords with the first one. This for an LSU lead of 1. Who touched it last? Georgia did. Well, this has turned into a long possession for LSU.
And now can they convert that into points?
2 out of 4 at the free throw line, and a chance to get points conventionally.
0 for 4 in field goals in the last 3+ minutes for LSU.
Six seconds to shoot. Morris from long range. Didn't get it there. That's put back in with 1 second on the shot clock and a foul. Angel Reese right there to slither it home. And she was fouled just before the shot clock expired.
Well, maybe after the game, Alexis Morris might say, despite the fact that I was in a shooting motion, I'd like an assist on that play, because that jump shot came well short. But when you've got 6'3" waiting under the glass, Angel Reese just went up, snagged it out of the air, and went right back up and put it in.
Nicholson committed the foul. That's her second. So there are 5 Georgia players with at least 2 fouls.
7 points, 6 boards now for Reese here in the first half.
LSU by 3. 100 seconds are left in the quarter and the half. Morris slaps it away from behind. It's on the floor and tied up. That's going to stay with Georgia. Reese hit the deck for it. So did Morris. Morris was the one who initially deflected the pass or the dribble. 95 seconds to go in what has been somewhat of a sloppy but still entertaining first half.
See right there in the replay, Morris was a half dribble away from taking off with that on a breakaway.
Battle shoots an air ball. She altered her shot. Reese came over and got that big paw up in the shooting alley and forced the adjustment, and it came up well off the mark.
No surprise Battles is shooting as many three-pointers as she is. She's hit 25 on the season, but only shoots 28%. Now you can add an air ball to the 2 3-pointers she's had that have banged off the glass.
One dribble, the layup, finish, and here comes Georgia.
You know, with Reese, her success near the basket, it's all about angles. Georgia's doing a nice job of just making, she's just a little off on her angle, but that's why the ball's either not getting over the top of the rim or just not able to roll in. Usually she has a clear lane to the basket.
The looper bounces around and goes through for Chloe Chapman. Chloe only averages 3 points a game. She's got 4 in the first half. Carson gets down on the baseline, double teamed, it's slapped out of her hands, and it's going to stay with LSU. 16 to shoot, 35.5 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Beth Torino will join us to talk LSU softball at halftime.
You know, with this 21-0 start to the season for LSU basketball, you know, the only other team that had a start like this of 20 or more wins?
I'm thinking the softball team.
2015, softball was 25-0 to start the season.
Beautiful segue on your part, sir. Well played indeed. LSU has not trailed at halftime in its previous 21 games. It's up by 1 here. 7 to shoot. 4 to fire. And LSU retains that record of not trailing at halftime, but leading only by 1. Boy, this has been sloppy at times, well played at times, competitive all the time. Victor Howell, Lynn Rollins with you at halftime. LSU 30, Georgia 29. We are back in a moment. It's halftime in Baton Rouge. Another raucous crowd on hand in the Maravich Center. A closely played first half between undefeated LSU and Georgia. The home team leads by 1. 8 days from today, the softball season starts across the nation. LSU, of course, one of several talented teams in the Southeastern Conference, and in her 12th year now as head coach, Beth Torina. Beth, I have seen you talk about your team 2 or 3 times in the last couple of weeks. Each time I've seen a twinkle in your eye. It tells me you're very excited about the prospects of this year.
I am excited. I feel like we've worked really hard to get this exact group together. It's been a lot of years in the making. We've taken some lumps trying to get to this point, and given experience to young players who are now not so young players. We're going to wear 6 grad patches this year. So we're a lot older and a lot more experienced, and we're really excited about the group we put together.
We've got a lot to talk about, but I want to bring up something that's been a constant for LSU, even prior to your arrival, and that is the play of remarkable center fielders. And you've got another one in Sierra Briggs, who won a Gold Glove last year, did a lot of things offensively. It's been amazing to see the all-star talent, one after another, after another, after another, after another, the last, 15, 20 years maybe.
I think they should call us Center Field U. What do you think?
I
think we should get T-shirts, Center Field U. I think we should make it a thing because there have been some incredible women that have roamed that outfield here at Tiger Park, and in original Tiger Park too, like you said.
Well, Allie Kilponen and Briggs and Taylor Pleasance today were preseason All-SEC selections. Certainly they are deserving.
They are very deserving. We returned 5 All-SEC All-Region players. There are 3 of the group. Also joining them, Georgia Clark and Danica Coffey, and those guys are a huge part of what we do. They're extremely talented. They're definitely going to be the people that lead us both on and off the field.
Tell me about impact newcomers. Who has impressed you so far in last spring and fall ball and then right now?
Yeah, this is a talented group of freshmen, and we've really waited a long time to see these guys. This is one of the early commitment classes before they changed the rules. So Macy Bajeron is a name here in Louisiana that everybody knows. She hit a ton of home runs in high school and has done some exciting things behind the plate. And then some awesome pitchers. You're going to love them. Sydney Berzon comes to us from Buffalo, New York. She was up there in the blizzard still pitching in her basement and came back looking great. And then Ailey Johnson from Fairhope, Alabama. She's a really big talent too. We're excited about them, especially the young members of our battery are exciting.
Pitching, of course, in softball goes such a long way as it does in baseball, and that was your expertise as a player and as a coach. How would you assess the improvement, or what you expect to be the improvement, of this year's staff over last year's?
Well, I think we have a great leader. I think we're led by Allie Kilponen. I think she does such a good job of just changing the energy for our team. When she takes them out, they're confident, they believe in her. So I think she will lead them well. I think, Ray Chafin was super competitive for us last year too, but we're going to have to bring along some of these young ones. They're talented, but it's going to probably take them a little time. It's the SEC, it's Division I softball. So they'll need to have a strong leader, and they have one in Allie Kilponen and Raylan Chafin. So it'll be fun to see them. They will just keep getting better as this year goes on.
Tell me about your schedule. I've seen it. You've seen it. Obviously, the SEC speaks for itself with, 9 ranked teams in preseason. But how do you like your schedule, the way it sets up to build toward postseason?
I do like it. I like that we see a lot of different conferences, some strong conferences. We're getting to see the Pac right off the bat. We're seeing some of the Big Ten schools out in parity in our sport right now. So I like that we're getting to see that. And of course, if you come to LSU, you come to play the best. That's why they're here. So our goal is always to not be perfect, but to be battle tested when we get to the end. And this schedule is going to do that.
Well, the tournament coming up next weekend gets things started. I want to go back to that schedule just a moment. National champion Oklahoma in gymnastics came here. National champion in softball Oklahoma will come here this year.
They will. They're here on a Tuesday night. We're excited to host them. It's going to be a great game. They're very talented, but I've got some talented Tigers out there too, so we're going to give them a ball game.
Let's talk about the tournament, where you get started, and what you expect to see. And also, are you doing this year what you've done in the past, and that is let the players kind of pick their starting lineup, and then you guys review it as coaches?
I think we have such a great roster this year. I don't even know if we need it. I think everybody's going to be a contributor, but we do typically let the players weigh in case somebody's really stood out in practice. So I'm sure we'll do it, keep their tradition. And then this first tournament is going to be a lot of fun. We host New Mexico as the opener, and then Oregon State was a World Series team from last year, and Nichols is in town. So it'll be a challenge right off the jump for us for sure. We're going to find out a lot about ourselves right here in opening weekend.
Thanks for stopping by at halftime, and I want to remind folks that every game in some fashion will be available on the SEC Network, one of the platforms of the SEC Network. So that's just magnificent, not only for LSU, but for the entire league.
No question. It's just an incredible opportunity for these women. I mean, they're so talented, so deserving, so it's great that everybody gets to see them play. And I can't have to say, we're so proud of our women's basketball team. What an incredible season they're having. What a journey they're taking us on. It's been fun. We want to follow in their footsteps. Success leaves clues, so we're going to follow their lead.
We'll see you in 8 days.
Thank you.
Beth Torina in her 12th season as head softball coach at LSU. It's halftime in the Maravich Center. LSU 30, Georgia 29. It has been a tenuous first half for both teams. LSU leading by a scant 1 point. Victor Howlin Rollins with you here in the Maravich Center. Victor, let's roll some highlights. We start with Battle. She got off to a slow start, but she is a player who can score from a lot of places.
Yeah, and one place she's not scoring from is the three-point land, because she's had some horrible attempts from behind the line going 0-4, but she's had her jump shot working inside the line, as she has 9 points in the game. She's 4 of 9 from the floor. Take away those 4 bad attempts from behind the line, figure it out, she's 4 or 5 from the floor. She's done a good job. For LSU, Angel Reese, it has been a struggle. Why? Georgia's not allowed her many of these open shots underneath, but look at the hustle. Underneath, fighting for the rebound, getting the putback in there, drawing a foul when it's all said and done after the first half. 3 of 9 from the floor, 7 points, but also has 7 rebounds. So for those who are wondering, yes, she's on pace again for yet another double-double, but this one is definitely going to be hard-earned for Angel Reese with the way Georgia's playing defense.
Well, let's give some credit to Georgia. This is a team that has come in, it has scrapped, it has not looked in any way fazed by the undefeated LSU Tigers, nor a near-capacity crowd. And this Georgia team has played sometimes without poise, but certainly all the time it's been a gritty effort, a good effort by Georgia.
Well, you see the turnovers, 15 turnovers for Georgia, but for LSU, that's only equated to 9 points. LSU has 7 turnovers, and Georgia scored 6 off of that, so that's a +3 for LSU, but they had 8 more opportunities. That goes back to the missed opportunities I was talking about in the second quarter. And then add to that with the 2 names. You see Reese and you see Diamond Battles. The one name you don't see on there is actually the leading scorer for LSU, and that's Samaya Smith. She's come off the bench with 8 points on 2 of 3 shooting, but she's been living the first half at the free throw line. You mentioned it, how she was playing big and playing strong, and she's been a problem for Georgia in the first half with the way she's been attacking the glass.
Would you agree with me that Samaya Smith has provided the juice at times in this game where LSU seemingly was devoid of juice?
Well, absolutely. And why is that? Because they've taken Angel Reese out of her game, and Alexis Morris, who we focused on before tip, coming off a career-high 31 in tonight's game so far. 0 for 7 from the floor. That includes 0 for 4 from behind the three-point line and just 2 assists. So your leading scorer coming off a career game has given you nothing in this game so far. You needed somebody to step up because their focus has been, we're going to take away that woman right there, Angel Reese, and find somebody else to help beat us. And Samaya Smith so far has been the one to give LSU that extra boost.
LSU in white, Georgia 1 point lead. And the Tigers nearly turn it over, but are able to pitch it back out. Carson for 3, missed it wide right. And so LSU, in effect, turns it over on the first possession.
And one other thing coming out of the numbers from halftime, you remember when LSU forced Georgia for a timeout, I told you then LSU was 3 of 5 from the floor, 60%. After that early timeout, so for the better part of 7.5 minutes in the second quarter, LSU then went 3 for 15 from the floor. They took 20 shot attempts, went 6 of 20. Georgia went 6 of 10.
And if you're just joining us, and this is hard to believe, but LSU went 9.5 minutes to close out the first quarter and part of the second quarter without a field goal.
all these games, now that you get into conference play, just the level of intensity, the physicality, everything just steps up a little more. Georgia has shown so far through 2 quarters not intimidated on the floor of the undefeated and third-ranked team in the country.
LaDeja Williams missed the short shot on the other end and then gets called for a foul defensively. Let's look at how the Tigers have fared this season. 23 points, the average margin of points, and then 18.7 today, +1 and -2. LSU is being out-rebounded.
Well, that's the bigger number. The +1, that can fluctuate. LSU had a lead. They were down by 4. They had a lead by 6 or 7. The bigger number there is the -2. Georgia has done a great job of not letting LSU dominate on the glass.
Audrey Warren, who is the best free throw shooter for Georgia at nearly 82%, misses the first one, but then makes the adjustment on the second one. $30 apiece. A fine feed to Williams.
Nice job by Flau'jae Johnson to see Reese on one side, but find Williams on the other side. And remember, Williams comes to LSU with a lot of experience from the playing days in Missouri. That's a player who knows how to step up in crunch time in some of these big games.
She does. She averaged 12.4 points a game and 4 rebounds for Missouri last year. We are tied at 32, and I believe this is the 7th tie we've had. Make it the 8th tie we've had. Players flying all out of the lane and a foul called, and free throws coming for LSU in a 32-32 game.
Flau'jae Johnson going back to the free throw line where she's 3 of 4. That's another big stat line. When you want to talk about the opportunities missed with field goals, why is LSU even into this game as opposed to being tied and the chance to lead? LSU, this will be its 18th and 19th free throw attempts of the ball game. Georgia has been to the line 3 times as a team, 3 for 3 from the line.
The Tigers have not shot particularly well from the free throw line. And they missed 2 more, but there is a whistle on the rebound attempt.
They're going to get a lane violation and give her another opportunity. LSU 11 of 18 with that miss would have been 11 of 19 from the line, shooting 60%. Flau'jae is going to get one more attempt because of the violation.
Alicia Lewis has replaced Chloe Chapman for Georgia. The lead was 1 point at halftime. It's 1 point now, 1 minute and 40 seconds into the third quarter. Reese runs around the player, and then a retaliation foul by Smith. Reese was able to steal it. Smith tried to get it back and fouled Angel Reese.
And that's her 3rd foul, but probably a good one to spend because it kept Angel Reese on the breakaway layup. Reese used that long reach and those long arms to deflect the pass, and she was headed the other way.
16 turnovers for Georgia. Reese tried to scoop it up, lost her balance, didn't come close to scoring, and now it's 5 on 4 as Reese hustles back to get into the fray defensively. LSU with good body-up defense by Williams. LaDeja Williams holding her ground in the lane.
On that last shot opportunity, or the attempt at least, by Angel Reese, she was hoping to draw a foul, but again, it goes back to what we talked about in the first half. It's all about angles. She, even on that attempt that she was going to miss eventually, she was so far outside the lane. Georgia has done an excellent job, the best that we've seen anybody do all year long, of keeping Angel Reese from her comfort zone inside from the block to the rim.
Well, I think that terminology you just used is perfect. Comfort zone. She has not been in it. Battles, hits one for her 12th point. And it's now a 35-33 game.
They ruled it a 3, but they're going to look at it. It looked like her toe came very close to the line.
Yeah,
the officials have already made the signal. They're going to review that 3-pointer.
They have marked it as 3 for the moment, but when they have an opportunity, the officials will go to the tape.
Watch as she comes off the catch, coming high off that screen. It's the right foot right there.
I think that is a 3. I think she was able to retreat just far enough. But they will look at it at the next stoppage. Good inside moved down low by LaDeja Williams, and she's starting to play with more energy here in the third quarter. 35 apiece. Battles, pull-up jump shot, got another one.
Yeah, Battles has found her offense now. She finally hits a long ball and comes right back down and hits a contested jumper. I was going to say Flau'jae Johnson, while she hasn't done a lot in terms of the points, all of her points have come from the free throw line. 3 rebounds and 3 assists. She's done a nice job of finding opening teammates.
Poole shovels it off to Reese. Divides a couple of defenders and is fouled by the third one. And Reese, who has shot more free throws than anybody, will go back to the line. Reese is an ambidextrous shooter. Her free throws come from the left hand. This for the tie. Turnaround jump shot left side, bounces across the rim, missed by Nicholson, but a foul called against LSU, and Kim Mulkey is not happy.
Well, it was just a late call and a lazy foul if they're going to get her on the foul. Angel Reese didn't have her hands up. She just sort of swatted at it. Kim Mulkey just looked at the big screen in the Maryville Assembly Center and saw the replay saying, hey, she never touched her. All she did was wave at her. Angel Reese, it wasn't aggressive defense, but the fact that she got her big long reach out there, the official thought he hit her on the arm. She hit her on the arm.
I think that replay we showed you clearly indicates there's no contact.
And if anything, it looked like maybe she raised her elbow as she was going up into the shooting motion. That's as close as you can see from the replay of her getting it, but regardless, Georgia goes to the line, and now the Lady Bulldogs up by 3.
39-36, 6.5 to go, third quarter. Georgia trying to do what no team has done to LSU, and that is claim a victory. Reese back to the bucket, 15 feet away.
You see how they're kicking her outside the lane and not letting her get close, but there's the first one from Alexis Morris. Tiger fans have been waiting to see one go in. It's taken till this moment, 6 minutes and change to go here in the third quarter for Morris to get her first.
She had that monster game against Tennessee, but that's her first bucket of the game against Georgia. How many ties have we had right now? However it was, it's no longer a tie. There were 10 ties before that shot.
Now make it 11, because just like that, Georgia goes right back down the floor after the big breakaway layup for LSU, and the Lady Bulldogs get a layup.
41 apiece, 5.5 to go, third quarter. Turnaround jump shot, free throw line.
Flau'jae Johnson coming baseline from the baseline closest to LSU's bench under the basket. She was wide open.
Lewis with a step back over Morris. It gets the bounce. It was long. It caromed off the front lip and then was able to reverberate through. Wow, we've got one going here. 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Georgia 44, LSU 43 now. A little running hook by Williams.
I mentioned it earlier in the first half. LSU has found openings in this 3-2 matchup zone coming from the baseline. And LaDeja Williams finds that one there as she gets in for the 5-footer.
A jump hook is good from the lane straight away. Strong play by Jabin Nicholson. Nicholson now with 10 points. They're going to get Georgia on the foul.
They're going to get Battles on the foul coming over by the top of Angel Reese. That's going to be her second.
And we'll take a timeout here. 4:22 to play. 46-43. Alexis Morris hits this three. It's her only bucket of the game, and Victor LSU is waiting for her to just approach what she did against Tennessee.
Yeah, and that's asking a lot because of coming off a career-high 31, but 0 for 7 to start this ball game, including 0 for 4 from behind the line. but then her first bucket is a three-pointer. And look at what she did Monday night. 11 of 23 from the floor. And the biggest difference coming from Monday night to what's happened so far tonight against Georgia, Lynn, was when she started up against Tennessee, she found that confidence early. She got to the basket a couple times early in the ballgame. She even said it in the post-game press conference. They challenged me. I saw the lanes. I said, you know what? I'm going to take it. And when she did, she found success, and it led to a big night. Tonight, she had trouble finding lanes because of this matchup defense that Georgia is running, and she couldn't get the outside shot to fall. Now we'll see if she's hit one. We'll see if that can start any momentum for Alexis Morris.
LSU trails by 3 and owns the basketball with a little more than 4 minutes to go in Baton Rouge in the third quarter. Morris nearly had that one taken away by Lewis. Morris for 3. It was flat and it was off left. And it bounced deep, and it's going to stay with LSU. Georgia making a bid for an upset over undefeated LSU. Williams forces it up, draws the foul. She'll step for LaDasia Williams, a 6'4" graduate student out of Bradenton, Florida, by way of Missouri and South Carolina.
Coming into this ball game, LSU as a team shooting 69.5% from the free throw line. If they can't find more consistency from the outside, and with Georgia's matchup defense showing a lot of success keeping LSU away from the rim, this is where they need to succeed tonight. They can literally try to win it at the free throw line. But right now tonight, 13 of 22, so shooting 59%. 10 points lower than the season average.
And Williams misses 2. She's a sub 50% free throw shooter.
And Georgia as a team only gone to the free throw line 7 times, but Georgia's 6 of 7 from the line. The opportunities are there. Again, it's becoming the theme. Missed opportunities for LSU.
That ball is knocked loose in the lane, right under the bucket. Good defense by LSU's Samaya Smith. LSU has only committed 2 team fouls in this quarter. Georgia with 5.
If you want to get back to the free throw line, I keep giving the ball to Samaya Smith. So far in tonight's game, she has drawn 6 fouls by herself.
Right now, Angel Reese is not in the game for LSU. Here's Smith, strong underneath the bucket.
Just a moment ago, I thought I heard somebody say, you might want to go to Smith. The way she's played off the bench, right?
Yep.
Didn't draw the foul that time, but she has been big off the bench for LSU, and that time, a vicious foul by Smith as she hammers down on Diamond Battles.
This one might be worthy of a review.
Watch as she comes help side, see the big swing, doesn't hit her in the head. She had the arm up, but you can just see, especially from where we're seated, which is opposite side of the floor, you just saw the big wind up and the big swat by Smith.
She just whipped and hit the player instead of the ball.
10 points for Smith, 3 of 4 shooting, 4 of 8 from the line. Battles leads 2 Lady Bulldogs in double digits. Nicholson has 10. Battles 14 points on 6 of 11 shooting.
It's Battles, Lewis, Smith, Warren, and Nicholson on the floor for Georgia. Williams, Johnson, Smith, Morris, and Poole for LSU. As we move toward the 3-minute mark left, and a very bad pass by Morris. Lewis is able to get to it and lay it in. That was a very bad miscalculation.
Not enough zip on it. If you want to be more critical, you just say that it was soft or a lazy pass. Georgia took advantage, but LSU at least able to respond. Flauget again getting it inside to LaDasia Williams, who's now in double figures with 10 points on 5 of 7 shooting.
And LaDasia Williams has scored all 10 of her points in this quarter. She wants the ball, and she is getting shooting position. That comes up a little bit short.
And
there's a rebound.
Remember what we said, she comes with experience, right? She's used to SEC competition down the stretch.
Nice move on the baseline. Kick out to Poole. Fakes the 3. Dumps it off. That's come up very short. Good idea, but the ball just kind of looped off the wrist of Williams.
She's on the sideline, out of bounds. That'll be another turnover for Georgia.
Angel Reese will re-enter the game after a rest for LSU, and Latir Poa will as well. Last year, Poa in the game. Angel Reese in the game. Morris leaves, and so does LaDeja Williams. And LaDeja Williams is headed up the tunnel to the locker room. But moving okay, it appears. Here's Poa. Reese snaps a pass underneath for the layup, and it rolls off. Flau'jae Johnson was right there and couldn't finish.
LSU will keep possession because it goes off the Lady Bulldogs' hand. Flau'jae tried to go same motion in the air from the pass to the shot, and it went all the way around the rim, just could not get it to fall. It was a great look, though, by Angel Reese.
Less than 2 minutes remain in the third quarter. LSU trails by 2. Poole for 3. But a push-off before the shot against LSU's Flau'jae Johnson, and that's her third.
Second foul on Flau'jae, and another missed opportunity on the offensive end for LSU. The long ball was coming up well short of the offensive foul, and negates any chance to try to get rebounds and put it back in. Travel, it's another turnover.
Battles was trying to turn and create a shot opportunity, but took a little shuffle step in the process.
19 turnovers now for Georgia, just 10 for LSU, yet both teams have an equal amount of points off of turnovers. 9 more opportunities for LSU, including this possession, to score off opponents' miscues. LSU's not taking advantage of it.
So Georgia here in the closing part of the third quarter has committed 3 more turnovers than it normally does in a game. 16 is the average in a game. It's at 19 right now.
It's the third foul on Battles. Kim Mulkey was screaming about that foul. She wanted one earlier on the shot by Morris after they called that ticky-tack foul on Angel Reese on one end. You see, she's still barking about it, telling the officials about getting fouled. She was playing that play the whole time, saying she slapped and finally got the call. Look how Battles bodying her up. You see how the arms coming in, slapping at it. You can see Mulkey dancing on the sideline, screaming, that's a foul, it's a foul.
Poa is the best free throw shooter for LSU, 88.6%. Well, even nearly a 90% free throw shooter is 1 for 2 tonight in that trip. Poa digging in defensively against Lewis. Lewis fakes left, beats Poa down the lane on the right side, dumps it off for the shot, it's good. Well done by Georgia.
Absolutely, it's well executed. You draw the help side defense, leave your man, bounce pass to the other side, easy layup. That's well executed.
Brittany Smith on the receiving end of the pass, and Reese is unable to handle the pass. It goes right through her hands. Lead pass down, and a bucket again by Georgia's Brittany Smith. Right now, Georgia is beating LSU down court. 53-48, LSU trails. Late in the third quarter. Poole has the ball taken away. Poole may be hurt. Meanwhile, it's 2-on-1. Poa is there. There's a collision. The bucket. It's going to count, I believe. We'll sort it all out with 24 and a half seconds to go. Meanwhile, Lewis for Georgia and Poole for LSU are just now getting to their feet.
We'll talk about Poole in just a moment. Poa tries to come over, tries to get the fourth foul on Battles so she can draw the charge, but she's late getting over. Look, you're not the reigning AAC Player of the Year for nothing. She knows what she's doing, attacking the glass. She draws the contact, gets the foul. As for Poole, it's good to see her going off the floor okay and jogging off the floor. When you mentioned it could be hurt, her ankle got turned under her and turned the wrong way on the steal, and the body fell on it. But she is going to go up the tunnel a little bit just to stretch and make sure everything's okay.
It looked very awkward and potentially damaging as it occurred. Meanwhile, it's very likely that LSU is going to have a deficit on its own court going into the fourth quarter as it tries to protect its perfect record.
Well, one big challenge for LSU coming into tonight. We just had a big win against Tennessee as the Lady Vols had a run, and then you went on a big run in the second half and you pull away. Remember against Arkansas, lead against the Razorbacks. They came storming back, and it took some late free throws for LSU to help put that away. The difference in those two games and this one, LSU was doing a lot of things right, playing up against a team that played well. Tonight, LSU has not found any significant rhythm on offense. They've had turnovers. They've had missed opportunities. This is going to be the first time all season LSU's going to have to grind one out if they want to walk away with a win and keep that undefeated string intact.
The Tigers apparently will play for the final shot in the third quarter. This is Poa. Gets it to Carson. Carson goes down the lane. There's contact. Carson misses off the window, but free throws will be coming with a little less than 4 seconds to play in the third quarter. That's 4 fouls on Smith, and she'll go to the bench. .76% is Carson's accuracy rate this year at the stripe. LSU needs to convert every free throw opportunity. They've had many more than Georgia has had, but they've left points at the free throw line. This will count if it goes. It does not, and we go to the fourth quarter. Georgia leads LSU. 10 minutes to play in Baton Rouge. Lady Bulldogs 55, Tigers 50. Georgia with 15, 14, and 26 points in the third quarter. A lot of that came from Diamond Battle. She started to heat up and is taking better shots and converting them.
Attacking the glass, finding the jump shot. Here's her lone three-pointer. They reviewed it, did confirm it's a three-pointer, but that's not where she's been at her best tonight. It's been like this. Attacking the glass, pulling up the jump shots. That on the breakaway right before the end of the third quarter when she drew the foul. Got to the free throw line. Look at Battles and Nicholson, who are your top scorers. Battles has 17, Nicholson has 10, the only two in double digits, but they have 27. The rest of the team for Georgia has 28, but that's enough to have a 5-point lead for LSU, and the first time this season that LSU has played 3 quarters and heads to the fourth, trailing in a ball game.
And Victor, as we've done some quick paperwork and some homework and some research, very few times in Kim Mulkey's 2-year career now at LSU have the Tigers trail going into the fourth quarter. Very few times.
Yeah, 9 times total going into this one right now. So this is the 10th time since she's been in Baton Rouge to be trailing after 3. But as we just talked about, going into the end of the third quarter now, here's the challenge for your team. And you're going to see it again. You got South Carolina in just over a week and a sold-out game out there. You got the conference tournament. You've got NCAA tournament. Sometimes you got to find a way to win when you're not on your best. LSU has not been on its best in many factors tonight, but you're at home, you're only down 5. Can this team now find a way to grind it out and figure out a way to win?
So starting the fourth quarter for the Tigers, LaDasia Williams, Jasmine Carson, Flau'jae Johnson, Angel Reese, and Alexis Morris. For Georgia, Diamond Battles, Mallory Bates, Alicia Lewis, Audrey Warren, and Javin Nicholson. Every rebound opportunity, every free throw, every shot, every pass, every decision here in the fourth quarter will be crucial.
Coming off a third quarter where LSU had its best shooting quarter of the game at 46.7%. The problem is Georgia, 10 of 14 in the quarter for 71.5%.
That is getting it done
on the road.
On the road.
Again, look at the bottom 2 players in black jerseys. Look how high up they are in the lane. Halfway up the lane, but they're trying to force that baseline up so Reese and Williams cannot get comfortable on the block.
Williams shoots with 5 on the shot clock, and the defensive rebound is snatched by Mallory Bates at 6'3", a 6th-year player from Roanoke, Virginia. And Georgia extends the lead.
As much trouble as LSU is having in getting it on the block, Georgia is not. They've done a nice job of dissecting this LSU defense and finding opportunities close to the rim. LSU has not figured out this matchup defense that Georgia's running and their ability to push the baseline up the lane.
12 points now for Nicholson. LSU doing its best to try to claim the offensive rebound, but cannot do it. Lewis lopes into front court. 7 points is the lead for Georgia. And perhaps a bumping foul called against LSU. That one looks like it's going to go against LaDasia Williams. Williams was trying to form a barricade, but made too much contact. Williams takes it away. Morris. Another missed layup as Angel Reese got caught in the flow and went down.
And he called the foul ahead of time. The reason she went down was a sweeping leg trip. That's what sent Reese down. She was trying to fill left lane. They had Tigers on the right lane. Watch. See the arms up, but watch the kick up top. Right there, and it trips up her ankles. Flau'jae Johnson gets the hoop, and yes, she misses the layup. The foul came first on the trip.
And another foul. I think it's going to be Lewis or Nicholson. That's the second foul on Lewis. LSU is trailing by 7. Morris open, too long. LSU trying to keep it alive. Reese with an offensive rebound.
LSU really needs Morris to find something on the offensive end besides that one three-pointer.
This is Reese. Dribbles it twice. Tries to put it up. Can't get it. She snatches her own rebound. 3 on the shot clock, and it's thrown away. Battles is able to beat Alexis Morris.
Well, LSU is trying to work so hard to find anything. Reese somewhat looks like she's trying to force it. It's because she's trying to force her way to the basket. Georgia won't let her there. And on the other end, it's the Lady Bulldogs getting easy layups.
Georgia leads by 9, and this is the biggest deficit that LSU has faced the entire season.
We're 2.5 minutes into this fourth quarter, and already 3 fouls on Georgia, and 2 came on the last possession. So we talked about, can LSU grind its way to get to the free throw line and then make free throws where they have not been very good tonight. But they have to somehow find a way to get some sort of consistency on the offensive end.
Reese spinning, puts it up, and it goes. Reese with a pirouette move after the throw-in.
Well, it's not going to matter to her right now because this is not the most important thing, but with that bucket now, that's another double-double for Reese. 10 points, 10 rebounds. But she would rather give that up and instead find a way for her team to get the lead.
LSU down by 7 with a little more than 7 minutes to play. Shot clock at 5. Lewis steps back, deep deuce, didn't get there. Poole rebounds underneath the bucket. Poole lopes into front court. Here's Carson.
Can LSU find a mini spurt like they had in the early second quarter when they forced Georgia to take a timeout?
Morris looking inside, instead goes back outside to Poole. Back to Morris, 3-ball, got it. Oh, that's a big bucket for LSU. This crowd is ignited now. Georgia takes a timeout.
No, LSU. Kim Mulkey called that one.
I beg your pardon. Let's step aside here. We've got ourselves a ball game. 6:41 to go in the fourth quarter. LSU trails Georgia by 4.
Alexis Morris' second bucket of the game cuts the deficit to 4 for LSU, 59-55. I want you to keep your eye on number 3, Diamond Battles for Georgia. And why? Morris, you know the shot's going to go in, but I want you to watch what she does right here. Watch how she just kind of walks back, not paying attention. It's her walking in the quick pass back to Morris. That's all she needed to have enough room to put that three-pointer. And how about the confidence of Morris, who has struggled all night long to see that opening and launch it in front of her own bench and hit it at a time when LSU needed it most. But Battles just kind of lackadaisical, walking away a little bit, and went right back to her, and it gave her enough room to put that shot up and in.
Well, the Tigers are going to have to shoot better in this final 6:40 than they have so far. They are 32% from the floor, 59% from the free throw line. Georgia has converted 57% of its floor shots and 70% of its free throws.
LSU's missed 11 free throws. If they make half of the shots they've missed from the free throw line, LSU has a 2-point lead.
Carson digging in defensively. Lewis cannot penetrate. Reese knocks that away. Shot clock at 10. This is Battles. She'll finish
That's
this sequence, and she pushed off. That's her third. Morris hit the deck after the push-off.
Now, I will tell you, it did look like that Nyblack was set, but the run-in by Morris was so heavy. Watch her, she's going to come. She never sees this coming. I think Morris actually sells it by the way she went down. She ran straight into a brick wall, and the way she went down, though, made it look like the Nyblack came in and kept moving and popped her one offensively, and LSU got the advantage of the call.
I think maybe those arms coming up a little bit might have helped the officials make that call, but right now LSU has more. For three. Online but long, and a strong rebound. Pulled off by Georgia's Nyblack.
LSU's now 5 of 20 from behind the three-point line as you get the drive and the bucket there by Alicia Lewis.
One of the differences in this game has been the ability of Georgia to convert layups and short shots, and LSU not so much.
Yeah, and they're not converting when they get turnovers, as we talked about, extra possessions. I mean, look at the way Angel Reese is having to fight just to get to the block to try to get a shot up. If I'm LSU right now, yes, I know Alexis Morris just hit a three-pointer, and LSU needed it. But right now, I keep attacking, drawing fouls, and go to the free throw line, because Georgia's shown if there's one thing they're going to do, it's fouling.
That last foul called against Nyblack.
Nyblack has 4 fouls. Bates has 4 fouls. Smith has 4 fouls. Battles has 3 fouls.
Reese with 11 points, 10 rebounds.
26 fouls total as a team, which is why LSU is now attempting its 29th free throw.
Normally when you get that many free throws and the other team doesn't even approach that, it's not even a close game.
Yeah, you think it'd be lopsided, exactly.
But Georgia leads by 4. This is Lewis. Poole chasing, long three in the air. Off the iron, Poole fighting for it. Poole comes up with it. Poole lopes into front court. Poole slings a pass off of Reese. She chases it down.
Angel Reese even tried to tell her, calm down, we need this possession. She tried a tricky pass.
Reese snaking her way inside, scores! Up and under and in.
That might be the second easiest basket she's had all night. She was able to get that big step that she likes to do and drive to the basket. One of the first times all night Georgia let her get the step to the block.
It's a 2-point game. Georgia with the ball and the lead. 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. LSU on a 9-2 run. Now make it 9-4, and that was a huge bucket by Brittany Smith. The senior from Orlando, averaging nearly 12 points a game, has 10 points tonight.
She's now the 4th Lady Bulldog in double digits. Nicholson has 12, Smith and Lewis both with 10. Battles leading the way of everybody with 19.
The lead is 4 for Georgia. Reese snakes inside, misses with the underhanded shot. Huge offensive rebound by Williams. LSU just can't get one to go. Flailing around, good effort, but just not able to clear enough to get an unencumbered shot.
Battling on the glass, LSU gets another foul on Georgia, so LSU will go back to the free throw line.
It's the 4th on Nicholson.
So now the 4th player, if that is her 4th, that's the 4th player for Georgia with 4 fouls.
3:57 to play in a nail-biter unfolding here in Baton Rouge. The crowd here is
previous play is
frantic.
under review for a timing.
All right, so we're going to have a official review. The officials have just told us that they are checking to see if there is a shot clock violation, and then they're going to have a timeout immediately following the decision.
So what they're looking at was to see, did the shot clock go off before the foul was called?
This is good officiating, Victor. Just use all the tools you can to get it right.
There was no timing mistake. The foul on the floor stands.
All right, we'll take a timeout here. Victor Howell, Lynn Rollins with you. Thank you for joining us for the final 3 minutes and 57 seconds from Baton Rouge. During the timeout, the officials reviewed the tape. They determined that the shot clock had not been violated. Therefore, the shot is active and the foul was assessed. There will be 2 free throws coming for Angel Reese after the foul on Nicholson, and that was her 4th.
Free throw attempts number 30 and 31 for LSU as a team. LSU sitting right now 18 of 29 on the game.
Reese rips the first one. We've got a 2-point game.
Well, I think the noise level's about to elevate here now as the crowd knows that LSU is doing everything it can to fight back into this.
Battles almost fell down and traveled, but she regains control. Lewis, stutter dribble. 3-ball up, 3-ball short, slung back in. It's claimed by LSU's Williams.
Smart play by Angel Reese, too, to slow it down because she knows how important possession is right now.
Morris controlling the basketball, dribbles to her right. Goes baseline, pulls up, takes the shot, way long. LSU has been flailing away with desperation and has claimed its share of offensive rebounds these last few minutes.
You know Alexis Morris wants it. You know how bad she wants to hit another big shot, but offensively it has not been her night. A lot of dribbling by one player who then pulled up a shot. Swing it around a little bit. If nothing else, go back to the free throw line.
Morris fakes right, dribbles left, is cut off by Lewis. A blocking foul called as Reese was trying to take the right baseline. That foul called on Warren, and I believe that's her 3rd. Yes, it is. Watch 31 right here.
Yep, clearly she was moving. Not sure that Kim Mulkey wants Angel Reese dribbling it in towards the lane from 20 feet out, but she certainly got Audrey Warren moving. So she has 3, 4 players have 4. LSU in this quarter, when they've needed it most, 5 of 5 from the free throw line with 1 more to come. Georgia in this quarter has yet to go to the free throw line.
Reese is 6 for 6 from the stripe in this quarter alone. 63 apiece. This is Battles. Fakes left. Morris trying to defend, and there's contact underneath the rim. Battles is going to shoot free throws.
Yeah, that foul's going to be on Morris, and that's all because Battles hit her with a stutter step. Morris tried to overplay going to the left, so she forced her to go right, which Battles did. She went right to go to the basket, but it was one quick hesitation, almost a stop and start, that got Morris off balance, and that's why Morris had to foul her, or else it was going to be an easy layup.
Battles lines it up to break the tie.
Gives her 20 on the night, 3 of 5 from the free throw line with 1 to come.
4 rebounds and 3 assists as well. She coolly deposits both free throws. Georgia by 2. Poole at the point. Against what appears to be a zone defense.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. That's a 1-2-2 matchup that sinks back down into a 2-3. Now that time they got the foul on Angel Reese trying to battle for position on the rebound. It's the same defense Georgia's been running all night long as they extend it wide, and then it quickly collapses into the paint, which is why LSU's been spending so much time away from the lane. But again, you're only down 2 with 2:24 to go. That's a ton of time. If Georgia has proven anything, they're going to foul if you attack. So why you're settling for outside shots, I don't know if you're LSU.
I think Lewis may have been scratched, and there might have been a little blood present. But they've got her taped up, and we are back to play.
Can LSU find a way to get an easy bucket? A steal, a deflection, a breakaway for an easy layup? Can they dig down deep and find that on defense?
Morris fights through the pick. Battles has to give it up. Reese defending. A really good move to create the shot by Nicholson, but she could not finish.
Yeah, that was the old NBA up and under. Throw the head fake, a big fake underneath, you get the flare to jump and fly right past you, then you go right under and go for the lay-in. Everything was perfect but the conversion.
This game is tighter than the top string on a Texas fiddle. Less than 2 minutes to go. 65-63, Georgia leads LSU. Nobody has defeated the Tigers this year. Georgia making a strong bid to do so. 100 seconds to go. Morris loses it, and then a foul committed in backcourt.
No, that's Battles. She lost it because Battles took it from her. Battles had 40 steals on the season coming into tonight's game. Got a huge one right there as she slaps the ball away from Alexis Morris and gets possession. Watch here, watch the quick hands. She's just waiting, and as soon as Morris tries to go up, she steals it, and then Morris has to foul her or else it's a breakaway.
That was the 4th team foul. Georgia has committed 5. Lewis, quick release 3. A little bit long. Rebound grabbed by Williams. Here comes Morris. Morris lays it in. A strong move as she was being defended by Lewis. 65 each. 70 seconds to play.
Foul on LaDasia Williams underneath as Georgia was quick to get right back down the floor. That's her 3rd. They threw the ball in towards the baseline, and Williams with the contact to set him to the free throw line.
A quick quiz for you, my friend. How many ties have there been in this game? Take a stab at it.
We're north of 15, maybe south of 20. Let's go with either. I'm going to go with either 19 or 21.
13.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's a lot, though.
It's been close. I knew it was close. I don't know how many times. So I'll take the over and the loss on that one.
Smith got the second one. Brittany Smith with 11 points. 65 seconds to play. LSU down by 1. Poole reverses the dribble. Poole is smacked by Warren. That was kind of a rugby lead block against Poole.
Watch, she goes down hard after the foul by Warren. Warren with the body contact and the shove, and then Poole runs down another Georgia defender, and that's when she gets hurt, hitting the second defender. She's shaking it off. She says she's ready to go.
Oh boy.
78% free throw shooter on the season is Poole. Tonight, just 1 of 2.
The previous play is under review.
All right, we just got the call from Margaret Tiemann, the referee. The previous play, in her words, is under review. .8 seconds to play. Let's take another look at the contact, Victor.
Well, it was a hesitation dribble, the behind the back to change directions, and Poole thought she saw herself with a lane.
Ruling on the floor is confirmed, common foul.
It's a common foul, yeah. I was wondering what they were looking at other than the fact that Poole went down so hard, but it was just basically a shoulder chuck that she got from Audrey Warren that knocked her into Warren's teammate to draw the foul. So common foul.
This crowd is as nervous as Barney Fife looking for his bullet. Less than a minute to go. 66-65. Can Georgia do to LSU what no team this year has done?
Well, Georgia's ranking right up there with what Arkansas did in terms of the challenge, but The difference is Georgia's got the lead here late. LSU convert here.
Poole ties the game for the 14th time. This for the lead with less than a minute to play.
Short.
Tipped around, Williams claims it. Lewis reaches in. Williams goes to one knee to grab it. There's contact. There are people on the floor everywhere.
Kim Mulkey called timeout. I mean, within the half second that LaDasia Williams had possession in front of LSU's bench, Mulkey was up and on the sideline calling timeout to save that possession. I mean, Lynn, you're talking about a split second. Bodies, as you mentioned, bodies on the floor. The ball is loose. Now watch the fight for it. Williams is going to go after the loose ball. They're trying to tie it up. And right here, as soon as she grabs it, Kim Mulkey, look right there, she comes running in. I mean, as soon as she's on her knees picking it up, and in that half a second, Mulkey comes running down, signaling for the timeout, and it was granted.
LSU has clobbered Georgia in offensive rebounds. 23-6 has been the margin there. The problem for LSU is not many of those 23 offensive rebounds have been gone on to be resulting in points.
Second chance points, 16-6 LSU. So Georgia has 1 point per offensive rebound. LSU is leading in that category by a +10, having converted 23 rebounds into 16 points.
66 each here. 53.8 seconds to go.
Looks like they're going to get a little bit of an extended timeout because there's blood on the knee of number 35 for Georgia. Nicholson, she was out on the floor setting up defensively, and the official saw it center. So she's once again getting her left knee taped. I think that's the second time they've had to do that for her here tonight. So either it fell off before or she pulled it off because it was a problem running, but quick tape job, like a pit stop in NASCAR. She ran to the bench, 4 or 5 wraps around the leg, taped it up, back in action. There you see it on the left knee right there.
18 seconds on the shot clock. The possession is with LSU. LSU has 3 timeouts to use, Georgia with a pair. Neither team has fouls to give. Possession arrow favors Georgia.
Boy, this inbounds possession is so important for LSU.
This crowd is standing en masse, electrified here for the final minute.
18 seconds on the shot clock, so if you just do the quick math there, if LSU were to take all 18 seconds down, you're talking about the clock being in the mid-30s, which means there'd still be time for 2 possessions, be a Georgia possession, and time could be left over for LSU if needed. So what they do, this is basically a 2-for-1. What LSU does with this possession is everything right now.
And Victor, as we get set to replay, get started again, just a quick word of thanks on my behalf to you for 20 years of wonderful partnership here at LSU and other places as we have enjoyed our tenure working these games. It's been 20 years. This broadcast tonight will wrap up our involvement this season, but it has again been a pleasure and such an honor.
Oh, it's been an honor. It's been a privilege doing it for 20 years, and what a way to end this season, right, with a game like this, down the stretch with 52 seconds to go.
Here we go. Poole. Shot clock at 12. Tie game at 66. Georgia with the zone. Reese sneaks a pass underneath to Williams, goes up and travels. Williams up and down, survived the contact, but just could not launch the shot or find a teammate, and a turnover with 37.9 seconds to go gives Georgia a chance to take the lead.
If she has, and this is a big if she has a way to get that ball out of her hand, she might be able to sell a foul. But the fact that she held on to it, went up and came back down with it, it sold the easy travel. She left the floor. Had no way of trying to get a shot up. I think even Coach Mulkey was trying to tell her, shoot the ball, and she responded, I couldn't. They were slapping at me. She tried to sell the foul, but couldn't get it. Watch again. That's a tough pass by Reese. She backs out, But the fact that she does that right there, up and down, and never let go of the ball, it invited the call for the travel and another turnover for LSU. 15 on the game for the Lady Tigers.
So now Georgia's offensive brain trust is in action on the sideline.
And then when you look at the turnovers, and again, remember we talked about opportunities. Georgia has 21 turnovers to LSU's 15. But points off turnovers, LSU has 12. Georgia has 17. So Georgia's a +5 in points off of turnovers, even though LSU has committed 6 fewer turnovers than Georgia.
One reason for that is LSU's 32% field goal percentage tonight.
Yeah, their best quarter was shooting 40% in the third, which is the same quarter. Georgia shot almost 72%. So Georgia did its job on the defensive end. Can LSU now do the same thing? Because you know Diamond Battles is going to have the ball in her hand at some point in this possession. Whether or not it's the entire possession, we'll see.
This is Lewis. Battles runs down on the baseline in front of her bench. Lewis is guarded by Poole.
They're going to look to try some sort of a high screen and then suck the defense in on the ball and then look to dish it off and see if they can get an open shot.
Shot clock at 15, 22 left in the game. This is Lewis against Poole. How far will she take it? Lewis is cut off, spins, 3 seconds to shoot, 1 second to shoot. Georgia turns it over with 7.8 seconds remaining. So Lewis just was content to dribble it away. Georgia never got into an offensive flow. LSU takes a timeout.
Georgia could never get that high screen executed. I said Battle should have it. She went to the corner, and whether she was a decoy or Georgia wanted to go her direction and couldn't do it, there was no shot. The execution very poor. By the time they got into anything near the lane, it was 5, 4, 3, a desperation pass, and it goes straight out of bounds.
66 apiece. 7.8 seconds. And in the timing of basketball, that's plenty of time. Plenty of time to dribble, take a couple of passes. You study these types of situations every day in practice, Victor, and it's very likely that LSU is going to go to something that it has drawn up on the blackboard before. This probably will not be a freelance opportunity here. LSU knows what it wants to do.
Yeah, and there may be times when you have a screen and roll, or you have somebody kind of a pick and pop and send it outside for the jump shot. With 7.8, this ball needs to be getting to the basket somehow, some way. Georgia has sent you to the line consistently tonight. LSU has to find a way to get them to take a chance slapping at the ball and to get a block.
Flau'jae Johnson gets it to Morris. Reese sets a high pick. Morris still dribbling, 3 seconds, knocked away. Morris has it. Morris turns and fires. No good. We have overtime coming, and that was not in any way close to LSU establishing a decent chance for what might have been a game-winning bucket.
A lot of dribbling out there on the outside, not a big high execution, not well done, well executed coming off of the screen like that. Here's another look at it with 7.8 to go. Morris decided to go away from the high screen, but then she runs into the double team. That defense has been so good just attacking the ball if you just dribble back and forth. LSU did not find a way to penetrate and force Georgia to make a decision. You let Georgia dictate what you had to do, and you can see Kim Mulkey right there fussing at him, and not fussing but trying to encourage him, saying, hey, now you got to shake it off. That's over. It's 0-0 with just a few minutes now, 5 minutes to go in overtime. You got to forget about that execution. Now you got 5 minutes to execute to win this thing.
Now remember, Georgia has led over a considerable period of time in this game, and LSU really had to come back from a sizable deficit to forge this tie and an overtime at 66. Georgia will be working here, Victor, with 5 players who have 4 fouls.
Boy, just thinking that final, 58 seconds? Remember we said it could be 3 possessions. It wound up being 3 possessions, and the defense stood tall in all 3 possessions. Neither team Georgia once with a full shot clock, LSU with 2 partial shot clocks. Remember, when they had the ball, they had 18 seconds to go on the first possession, and then at the end had 7.8 seconds to go. Neither time for LSU nor could Georgia in its one possession find a way to execute the offense one time to get to the basket or draw a foul and try to win this thing in regulation.
Georgia had a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter. LSU was able to fight back to tie it at 66. Both teams had a chance to score with their last possessions, but nothing came out of it. Well, if you've just joined us or have been watching the entire time, call a friend. Tell them about this 5-minute overtime period. Help a buddy out. Tell them, hey, you might want to turn this game on.
Yeah, you have no idea what you've missed in this battle between these two teams.
We've got an official coming our way with some sort of explanation.
Verifying the amount of timeouts each team has. There's a little bit of...
I like the little bit of, just kind of leave it out there. What they're verifying, how many timeouts does LSU have and how many timeouts does Georgia have?
And we are being told each team has 2.
They wanted to clarify.
I applaud these officials, Victor. That they have very subtly but steadily and consistently come over to help us out a little bit if there's any question.
Foul right off the bat, off the tip ball on LaDasia Williams, trying to tie it up. That's going to be her 4th.
Free throws are coming for Georgia.
See, and remember what I was saying earlier about settling for jump shots as opposed to going to the basket? Angel Reese, as much as she has struggled tonight in battle, look, she still has 18 points and has 11 rebounds. She has drawn 10 fouls. Samaya Smith has drawn 6 fouls. Flau'jae Johnson has drawn 4 fouls. Georgia's not fouling from 20 feet from the basket. That tells you if you can get in, you might not hit the field goal and you've struggled, but there's a reason why you've gone to the free throw line 35 times tonight for LSU.
Lewis is a 63% free throw shooter. She bags the second one. So the senior from Wallingford, Pennsylvania unties the knot, 67-66. Georgia by 1 in overtime.
Again, Georgia extending that 3-2 defense. Then you see how they collapse on Angel Reese.
And Reese is able to climb it over the rim.
There was contact out there by number 24. That's Smith. She has 4. 5 Georgia players with 4 fouls, but they let them play on, which is a good thing to do in overtime. This has been a physical game all night long, so they don't blow the whistle and foul her out, but Reese is able to convert.
Lewis kicks it to the corner for a 3-ball. And contact and 3 free throws are coming after a foul on Flau'jae Johnson.
And she knows it. She came out late, jumped in. You see what she's trying to say. She was looking for help. But that's Flau'jae's 4th foul. And what a horrible time for it to come for LSU on a corner 3-ball where she makes the contact. Take a look. Kick to the outside. You see how she jumps, but she jumps into her instead of up. Clearly with the body contact.
This is a really good free throw shooter, Audrey Warren, 81.8%. 1
for 3 on the night.
There have been 14 ties and 8 lead changes, and right now, with 4:15 to go in overtime, we are at our 15th tie.
We're getting closer to my 18 or 19.
We are. We could get there easily. Now 9 lead changes. Back and forth we go. Teeter and then totter. Poole at the point. Oh, that's a dangerous pass to Morris. Williams tries to lob it down. Not much room, but somehow, Angel Reese is able to sling it in.
I will give Williams all the credit that she saw that lane and thought she could pull that off.
Poole
she did.
pokes it loose, and here's Morris. That was set up by the deflected dribble by Poole, and then Morris did the rest as she gobbled up the loose ball. LSU leading 72-69 with a quick reversal of events.
And after the deflection, as you mentioned, by Poole, she's looking up. She sees a 2-on-1. She's got Reese running with her. But where Morris may be at her most comfortable like that is when she's in transition and attacking the glass. We talked about her trying to settle for jump shots. She's had, look, let's just face it, she's had a bad night at the office when it comes to the jump shot. But when she has attacked the lane, it takes that speed. She's found success, and none bigger than that layup right there.
We will come back with more. 72-69, LSU leading Georgia in overtime. There was a record crowd against Tennessee in this building, over 15,000. Not quite that many here tonight, but just as noisy. Georgia, Lewis, long shot, misses left side iron, and the rebound is tied up. It's going to be LSU's possession.
Well executed play by Georgia coming out of that timeout, setting a double high screen for the three-pointer by Lewis. They wanted to try to tie it up in one quick shot, and they executed that very well for her to get that shot off. She just misses it left, and the tie ball goes to the Lady Tigers.
Georgia's biggest lead in this game has been 9. LSU's biggest lead has been 4. And the Tigers give it up. This is Battles. This is Lewis. Jump shot good. Left side.
Alexis Morris got caught on the floor by a screen by Smith. Just didn't get up fast enough, and it made everybody else have to rotate, put the Lady Tigers a player down.
Brittany Smith now has 13 after that jumper. A 1-point gain.
Flauger's got it released, but yeah, that's 2 turnovers now by Williams in these last 2 possessions.
Lewis with a beautiful lead pass and a lay-in, and Georgia has regained the lead as Audrey Warren takes the pass from Lewis, and Georgia quickly snaps to a 1-point lead.
That's great composure by the Lady Bulldogs, as LSU last 2 times down is not able to hold on to it offensively.
Reese forces it, gets it back, can't score on the reverse layup, but she was fouled. Victor, does this surprise you? It does me. Georgia, by a large margin, has outscored LSU in fast break points, 16-9. That surprises me.
That's absolutely surprising because of the pace that LSU likes to play. And we talked about it with the turnovers and the inability to convert. They haven't had a lot of fast break chances with some of the field goals that they've missed. But yes, the fact that Georgia has beaten LSU at somewhat of its own game, that is very surprising.
Javin Nicholson has just committed her 5th foul. She's replaced by Mallory Bates. And Angel Reese, who had not missed a free throw in a long time, misses the first one here. This for the tie. Oh, both of them roll out. Offensive rebound, and it's good. Put back in by Flauger Johnson. The freshman was in the right place at the right time after Georgia could not completely secure the rebound.
LSU went 7 of 8 from the free throw line in the 4th quarter. 0 for 2 at time, but nice job of getting the offensive rebound and the points.
A foul is called. Angel Reese is protesting. LSU has 25 offensive rebounds. Georgia has 7.
Well, Angel Reese is protesting, but the foul wasn't on her. The foul's going to come right here. They called it on Alexis Morris. Now maybe she was protesting on behalf of her teammates saying there wasn't a foul, but they called that on Morris. Let's revisit what Battles has done with the free throw line tonight. 4 of 6. 5 of 7 now, 22 points. She now ties Reese for game-high honors in scoring.
74 each. Just under 2 minutes to play. Reese claims the rebound. That's 14 for her. Reese can't penetrate. Reverses the dribble. Tried to dribble it through a couple of players. We got kicking and scratching and clawing going on. Possession is going to go to Georgia.
Georgia ball. Here's the one thing for LSU. How many times this year have we seen Angel Reese handling the ball from 15 to 18, 20 feet away on the wing trying to drive in? You have to dish the ball back, swing it around, and try to get back on the inside where they've been sending you to the free throw line all night long. That's not the game we're asking to see right now if you're LSU.
And Reese is going to draw a double team in that circumstance every time. 74 apiece, 83 seconds to go. Battles, loops it over to Lewis. Down inside it goes, back outside, 10 to shoot. Poole digging in defensively. And a traveling violation called against Brittany Smith.
Well, LSU thought she traveled the last time she touched the ball and kicked it around, but they went back to her, and she's trying to back her way in against Reese, and that time moves her feet. So, again, this is another one of those opportunities. It's there for you. Georgia does not score. Can LSU do something with it on the offensive end?
Buckle your seat belts and hang on to your chairs. 1 minute to go, 74 each.
I'm surprised LSU's attacking a defense with a 1-2-2 with a solo person on the top instead of splitting it.
This for three. Got it, Morris. She has had a substandard offensive game tonight, but that is a huge three ball, her third of the game. And LSU has taken a 77-74 lead, 49 seconds to go. Morris released it with confidence from the left side and drilled it.
Nice job of swinging it by Poole, who doesn't waste any time. It comes from the baseline, back up top, and then a quick kick over to Morris. You can see Warren on defense was trying to shift over, but everybody in black had gone one way. The officials are telling us they're going to review the clock just for timing purposes. Everybody in the black jerseys had pulled out when the ball went up high. It's a quick release to the corner, and by the time the defense was making an attempt on Morris, that ball had already left her hand.
That was her 9th three-point opportunity, and the third she's made, and a huge one. Georgia is...
The clock will be set to 49.9 seconds.
All right, the clock is set to 49.9. We have just been informed. But look at this graphic. Georgia looking for its first AP Top 3 win since 2021. And, of course, LSU trying to remain unbeaten and go to 22-0 with Texas A&M and South Carolina the next two games. But this Georgia team has come from Athens and has really scrapped. It has battled. There have been opportunities for Georgia to back off, but it never has, Victor, and LSU has not played its best game tonight by far. But the Tigers at times have realized the dire situation that they've been in, and they have responded.
They've responded well, and they've had players who have had tough nights find a way, including that one right there that we're talking about, who really struggled offensively, but she's hit a breakaway layup that changed momentum, hitting that corner three against a Georgia team that arrived in Baton Rouge on a 2-game win streak, but away from Athens this year, Georgia just 2 of 3 overall. They've been very good at home at 10-3, with just 2 wins in 5 opportunities on the road, but credit the Bulldogs with the way they have stood tall and been swinging haymakers with LSU tonight.
Each team has 1 timeout remaining. This is Lewis working on Poole. Poole digging in. Lewis goes baseline, gets it to Bates. 13-footer from straightaway, no good. Rebound pulled off by Angel Reese, and she's fouled after she grabbed it. 33.1 seconds to play here in Baton Rouge in the first overtime.
If that's on Warren, that's going to be her 5th.
Audrey Warren has been disqualified via fouls.
Georgia doing a nice job on the offensive end, setting a lot of screens, trying to find an opening and get an LSU defender caught. LSU fought through them all on the defensive end. The shot was there, it was too hard. And then the big scrum on the rebounding effort there. LSU gets it, gets the foul called.
Damari Flournoy has replaced the fouled out player, Audrey Warren.
Georgia still with 3 players with 4 fouls.
Reese is now 8 for 12 after the miss.
0 for 3 in overtime. And remember how good she was in the, I think you said
she didn't miss one in the fourth quarter.
6 in the fourth quarter, and now 0 for 3 here in overtime.
Well, that makes it a 2-possession game. And the Bulldogs will spend their final timeout with 33 seconds to go.
Georgia just making the call while they're in the huddle that they're going to move the ball up past half court. They're going to inbound it on our sideline. We're across the court from the team benches, so they've already told the officials we're going to move it. We want to take it far sideline out of bounds here with 33.1. Now remember, last time we had a situation like this in a tie game, they sent Battles to the corner, either as a decoy or the offensive execution just never got to him. Now being down 4, I don't see them using Battles as a decoy. They're going to pull somebody off of the screen and try to get in her hands to see if they can get a freed up jump shot or an attack down the lane.
We are up to 16 ties in this game and 12 lead changes, and right now LSU is on top 78-74 in what has been a tumultuous evening in Baton Rouge.
Here's a look at Battles, 22 points, leading 5 Lady Bulldogs in double digits.
Lewis is guarded by Poole. Lewis works baseline, feeds Bates, 14-foot jumper on the money. Well done. Lewis drew the defense, kicked it back to the free throw line for the jump shot.
That's exactly what she did. She was able to go baseline. She was able to draw the defense and then the kick out. That's exactly what you want. If you're the Lady Bulldogs, you got exactly what you wanted. Drive the lane. If the layup is there, take it. She drew the defense, kicked it back out. Nice, easy jump shot, 2 points. Now, can Angel Reese get the job done at the free throw line?
Reese can extend the lead to 4 with a pair of free throws. 17 and a half seconds to go. Overtime unwinding to its final seconds here in Baton Rouge. Reese shoots it a bit flat.
Use your legs. That's tough. It's easy for you and I to sit here and say you got to use your legs. They're in overtime. They've been giving it everything. It's been a battle. But you got to dig down deep. Use the legs in those free throws to get it up and in.
She leaves them both short. Offensive rebound and a foul called.
Flau'jae Johnson, as a freshman, had it, looked like she was going to go up to the basket. Immediately when she looked at her bench after the foul, Kim Mulkey was looking at her saying, good rebound, kick it out, take it away. They've got to foul you. You don't need the score.
LSU now has a 26-7 advantage in offensive rebounds. And the latest one puts Johnson at the line.
That was free throw attempt number 42 for LSU tonight. 25 of 42 with 1 to go. Oh, that's good composure. That's good composure from the freshman, McDonald's All-American. Under the gun to hit those 2 calmly.
3 ball up left side. And a foul called on the 3-ball attempt. 3 free throws are coming as Flau'jae Johnson could not contain herself. That's her 5th foul, and there will be 3 free throws coming for Georgia. That's at least twice that LSU has fouled a 3-point shooter.
Well, it's been Flau'jae Johnson both times. Look, again, as she jumps, look how far she jumps out. She doesn't jump out. She jumps like you're doing a long jump, and she clears 4 or 5 feet in the air and goes right into the Georgia player long after the ball was gone.
Wow. Georgia can make it a 1-point game with 8.5 seconds to go. Flournoy, who just came into the game, has only had 10 free throw attempts the entire year. She's hit 5 of them.
Flau'jae Johnson fouls out with 8 points on 1 of 6 shooting, but also had 6 rebounds, 6 assists, but 2 very big fouls on 3-point shooters.
Now Bates will replace Smith in the rebounding position for Georgia. Here's the second of 3 free throws coming. Damari Flournoy has played in 16 games now off the bench, averaging 3 points. 5 for 10 at the free throw line before these attempts.
So if she misses, LSU has to get this rebound.
Morris gets the loose ball. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Foul called with 1 second to go. LSU is going to win, but my goodness, it did not come easy tonight, and this Georgia team deserves a heck of a lot of credit.
They sure do. Coming into Baton Rouge against one of the premier teams in the country, record-wise, undefeated, top of the SEC. You're picked in the middle of the pack, and they threw everything at LSU. But as we talked about earlier in the game and mentioned it again at the start of overtime, could LSU find a way to grind one out on a night that has not been their best, particularly on offense? And with that made free throw, they're going to do it. Boy, is there going to be a big sigh of relief for the young women wearing the white home jerseys tonight after this battle.
The final score as Morris drops both free throws. In overtime, LSU 82, Georgia 77. My friends, we had a scrap tonight in Baton Rouge.
What a great game by both of these ball clubs to battle it out. Both of them finding times of adversity in this ball game. Georgia a chance to maybe put it away in regulation, but LSU wouldn't let them do it. But then Georgia wouldn't let LSU win it when they had the opportunity, grinding it out to the end. But LSU continues that record win streak, now 22-0, and that young lady right there, 22 straight double-doubles. Maybe the hardest one she's had to work for, but Reese gets it tonight.
So that's the story from Louisiana's capital. For Victor Howell, I'm Lynn Rollins. So long from LSU, where the final score in overtime is LSU 82, Georgia 77. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.